art friends, and welcome to the Art Corner. I'm one of your co-hosts, Anoosha Syed.
And I am Vicki Tsai, and today we are very excited to be talking with you all about work-life balance. Yay!
Woo!
So, Anoosha,
Yes, Vicki?
I would like to ask you a question about work-life balance, and let's just start with something simple, right?
Okay. Hit it.
Do
Give me.
you have, okay, yes. So, do you have any sort of boundaries that you set between
No.
your work and
I
your life?
have
No.
I have absolutely no boundary. Okay.
How's
Okay.
that working for you?
It's horrible. My life is a complete mess. But like let's backtrack a bit.
Yes.
So in case our listeners don't know, both of us are freelance illustrators. I work from home since like it's been a year now since I've been working from home, and it is a hot mess when you don't set any boundaries for yourself because at least when you're working at a full-time job, you have set hours. Like you go to work at 9, you come back at 5. You have like a 1 hour break in between. And then maybe if you have like other clients, like you work a little bit at home, like after work.
Yes.
When you're a freelancer, you have to set those hours yourself. And it becomes really difficult when like, especially if your clients are, they're in like the email interweb. They have no sense of time as well. So you can get emails at like 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. or on the weekend. So like if you don't set those hours for yourself, you can be working from the moment you wake up until like 3 a.m. when you go to sleep. Is that the same for you, Vicki? Because it sure is for me.
As you're describing all of this, I'm getting like these very vivid flashbacks to just like mornings where I've like woken up and I've like seen emails and I'm like, I have to start work immediately.
Yeah.
And there's this weird kind of pressure that you feel like when you're freelancing, which is like, oh, like I'm always on the clock.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for me not to work almost. I'm here, I'm at the place where I work, I have my computer set up.
Exactly.
So like, what's my excuse essentially? And I think that can become dangerous very quickly because you sort of like lose the, any sort of like difference between time that you're working and time that you're not working. And I think anybody knows the importance of taking breaks and how not taking breaks can lead to a lot of issues, both immediately and down the line. So I definitely resonate with the experience that you're sharing. And it's, like you said, it can become very horrible very quickly, and it can become very just like time consuming, life consuming, and very, very stressful, which is bad.
Right. This is very bad. Listen to us, guys. Ideally, like you would want to set some, if you're working from home, if you're a freelancer like us, you would want to set some boundaries. You want to set like some certain hours for yourself where you say that, okay, I am going to work from this time to this time, and then I'm going to set like a break in between or like some multiple small breaks. Because like, my experience when I was working full-time at a studio, I was one of those people who would just get up every 5 minutes and just like walk around to see what everyone else was doing because I was tired of working. But like for some reason, I don't do that when I'm working from home. Because there's no one else to bother around me except my cat. But point being is that like, because like, okay, I try to put those hours for myself. I was going to say, okay, I'm going to work from 11 to 5 with like an hour break in between. But I'm at home and I realize, oh, okay, I need to go do groceries now. And I go and I come back. It's been an hour and I'm like, oh, it's lunchtime. I guess I could eat lunch now. And then it becomes another hour. And then it just keeps going like that, where I end up having like a 5-hour break in the middle of the day. And I'm like, okay, so now I got to make up for that lost time in the evening. And then I end up working until like 10 p.m.
Yeah. I've had that exact same issue as well, where it's like you sort of lose a semblance of a schedule, right? And so in your mind, you start like doing this patchwork of like hours where you're like, okay, I lost like X amount of hours here, so I have to like do X amount of hours now.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's like, that very easily turns into something that's like hard to manage, right? Because you just have these chunks of time like just swimming around in your head, and it's like it can just like meld into this one thing of like, I have to work.
Yeah.
And so it's no longer like setting aside like a certain like amount of hours for yourself to work. It just becomes of like, I have to like get work done. And so you just go right into it, and like all like ideas of a schedule are just like thrown out the window, and you're like, I just have to get things done, like, you know, because like I took a break, and like I can't not work now. Exactly. Which is like, it's confusing, right? And it's like, describing this, it's like, wow, like this sounds like a very incomplete, like thought out plot to like a mystery novel. It's like, because it's like, it's really hard to like keep track of, and it's just like confusing overall for yourself, and like for the work and the life that you lead, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like, also going back to a point you made before, like even if you do set those hours, and then you get an email later in the day, they're like, oh, okay, can you do this quick revision for me? And you're like, oh, it's only going to take 10 minutes, whatever. Don't do it. I would, in my experience, because then like that becomes like, you do one thing, and then you're like, oh, okay, I might as well like do these other things as well, because like I'm not doing anything, and then you're still working. That's my thing anyway.
No, yeah. I've definitely like had that experience as well, where it's like, oh yeah, I could just like do this really quickly, just like 15 minutes, right? Yeah. And then like you like have to start checking your emails, and like you start thinking about other things that you have to do, and it just like spirals, and you just like go down this rabbit hole of like things that you have to work on. And so we've talked a lot about the issues that can arise, right? If you don't have like an idea of work-life balance. Do you have any sort of suggestions or, you know, advice that you can offer to people? It's like, what can you do to start establishing work-life balance?
Okay. It depends on what kind of person you are, because I am a very messy, out of control kind of person, where like if I have tried to set a fixed schedule for myself, but like, as if you're working from home, like it just doesn't work out. Things will get in the way. So like, it is better to like make a more fluid time for yourself, and instead say that like, I'm gonna do X amount of hours today, and instead of being like, okay, I'm gonna work from this to this, just be like, okay, I'm gonna work 8 hours, and like you can spread it out throughout the day if you want. And so like, if something does happen that like, okay, I need to go after this errand or whatever, you can kind of like make up for it later on.
Yeah. I think that you bring up a really good point, especially about how it's different for everybody, because that's very much true. I remember when I had first started to like figure out some sort of like schedule for myself, what I did was like, okay, I'm going to do the classic 9 to 5 thing, and past 5 p.m. I'm not going to work. I'm just not going to. It's not in my mind anymore. And I tried that for a few weeks, and it was okay at first.
Yeah.
But after some time, I realized that I work really well in the evening.
Yeah.
And so it started to get to this point where when it was like in the afternoon time, I just felt like I wasn't getting anything done, because I was just, honestly, I was just kind of dicking around, you know. I was like, I'm like sitting at my desk, and I'm like, I got like my planner out, and like I know what I'm supposed to do, but like the ideas just like they're not as snappy as they are like later in the day. And like the things that I'm creating are just like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is kind of trash and I don't like it. So what I've learned, and you know, I'm still tweaking it, right? Like I'm still trying to figure out what works for me, but I have adopted something similar to you, where it's like, I will work X amount of hours a day, and I'll like work very intensively in the morning, and then like come like the afternoon, I'll like let myself relax for a couple of hours. And when it gets closer to like late afternoon, evening, I'll like go back into it deep again because like my mind and my body are just like functioning really well at that time of the day. And that's different for everybody, like you said.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I do something similar where like I'll do all of like the heavy work in the daytime, and then around 5, I'll stop working. I'll go for like a run or go to a gym or something just to like get that ickiness of working out of my system. Just because like being cooped up in like a little room all day really gets to you. And then later on, at around 9, I'll be like, okay, now I can get to like this lighter workload of like doing sketches and rough stuff. So like you're kind of easing yourself out of it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love that you bring that up. And also, kudos on you for going to the gym. That is very important. Something I also need to get into. But yeah, I think it's cool that you're talking about how you delegate like the lighter tasks toward the end of the day because I found that's something that has worked for me really well as well because it's like sketching later in the day, it's just kind of like you're not taking it as seriously, right? And it's not like there's a huge pressure, this investment to be very good at like doing sketches, right? Because it's just like you're just practicing. So like that I have found is something that's like a really nice way to just sort of like wind down and like explore like new rivulets of creativity, if you will. Yeah.
This is not this is not me advertising anything, but I absolutely love my iPad Pro, which I got recently. It lets me so I'll do all of my I'll do all of my sketching and rough stuff on that. But the thing is that I can now work outside in my garden.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah. Just like anything to get me out of my cramped little room. So like that's what I'll do. Where like after I do like my heavy work in the daytime, then like after when I'm doing my light work, I'll do it in the living room watching TV or like outside or just like so it's like even more relaxing and like you get like a little change in scenery as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so important. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like you said, working in the same room every single day can become kind of like you can feel kind of like jaded almost because it's like, whoa, like where am I? Like what is time? Like are the seasons changing outside? Like I don't even know.
What year is it?
Yeah, you're just like in this time capsule. But yeah, it's definitely important to go outside. And I know that sounds very sort of like, oh, like commercial on TV, make sure to get like 30 minutes of exercise a day. But like it is important to go outside. And like, yes, it's nice being in your own comfortable space, where like you have everything that you need within arm's reach.
Yeah.
But there's something about going outside and just like feeling the air on your face, you know, and like taking in the smell of the air and just like looking at nature and like the surrounding environment that you're in. That's just it kind of like it's a nice natural like stress reliever.
Yeah. I've always thought that I was like a very introverted person and that like if I was working from home, that's no big deal, like I don't like I'm fine not talking to people, but like now that I'm in this deep, like I will do anything to get like a little bit of social time, and that's kind of like how this podcast started. In that like I was like I just need a little bit of social life, like sometime in my day, and I get to talk to Vicki once a week now. But like okay, and the other thing about going on outside, again, this is really hippy dippy, whatever, but like going. I've started running last week, and again, I've never been the kind of person to go running, but like after being indoors all day, and like, do you know how bright it is outside?
Honestly, sometimes I step out and I'm like, my eyes hurt.
I'm just so used to being indoors, like my eyes have just adjusted to like that darkness level that when I do go outside, I'm like, has it always been this bright? I can't deal with it.
You're like shielding your eyes from the light. You're like, oh.
But yes, I'm like a little flower plant. I need to go outside. You need to get a little bit of sun on your skin. You need to like get some fresh air in you. But yeah, you gotta do that.
It's very important. And like I used to knock sort of like the value that just like being outside had. I was like, I don't need to go. What's outside that's not inside?
Exactly.
Plenty of things. And it's really cool that you bring up the whole thing about like socializing, because that's something that's also like a roadblock that I've like come up against as well, where it's just like, man, like this is what I wanted initially, because it's like, oh, it's nice to just like work uninterrupted.
Yeah.
But everybody needs friends.
Everyone needs friends.
You know, you need people to share your you know, your successes with, your grievances with, to just laugh and to just, you know, like talk about life and like what's going on. And so like it's very easy to not have that when you're working alone and freelancing from home. So like definitely it's important to keep those, or like foster, you know, those relationships, and to just like have something outside of the environment that you're always in. Yeah.
It is so important. Kind of, okay, we're kind of like moving away from what we're talking about right now, but like it's so important to have a life separate from your work, especially as an artist. You've hit the jackpot of like you're doing what you love every day. You've taken this hobby that like you absolutely love and you've made a career out of it. But now you've come into this issue of, okay, what is my other hobby now? Because like your art has become your work life. It is might have become a source of stress for you, and you can't. If you're also drawing for fun, which you obviously you can do, but like then it becomes just like it becomes too much, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it can just become your everything.
Yeah. And so now I have been trying and sort of struggling to find another hobby for just so like I can have like an other time for myself, some personal time where like I don't have to, so it's not art 24/7, and I can kind of de-stress and relax a little bit. And I don't have one right now. Maybe running might be it for me. We'll find out. But we'll see. Do you have anything like that?
I have taken up baking recently.
Did we talk about this on the podcast already?
I touched on it very lightly in the interview with Sid, but I have taken up baking and it has been extremely rewarding so far. And the only way that I can like describe it in a very physical kind of sense is that like my brain, like different areas of my brain are being used.
Yes. Yes.
So like, you know, the art part of my brain, the work part of my brain is just like honestly being put to rest for a little bit.
Yeah.
And like a different part of my brain is being activated where I can just really focus on, you know, baking and like measuring things and like temperatures and like smelling all the ingredients, and it's just nice and it's tactile and it's different. And oh my God, I don't know how to describe the joy that I felt when I was making the frosting last week for my cupcakes, but we don't have a hand mixer right now.
Okay.
So I have to do everything by hand. And this was kind of stupid on my part, but I didn't let the butter or the cream cheese cool down to room temperature before I started beating everything together. So I was like going in like full like elbow rotation, just like smacking these like very cold ingredients. I was like,
you will. Out of it.
I know, I was like, you will become frosting. And I was like, I could feel like my face like getting really hot, and I was like kind of like grimacing a little and like grunting. It was honestly kind of ugly, but like it was this like wonderful stress reliever. I was just like getting like emotions and like this like tension that I was feeling out in this very physical kind of way, and it felt like it just like felt so fun, you know, it just felt so different. And like you said, you know, you haven't necessarily found a new hobby yet, but like, you know, maybe running could be it for you. And I feel like running is similar in that way, where you just kind of like get these feelings in your body out through just a very physical form.
I think I think I hate to say it, but sports is a really great way to get all of that stuff out of your system. Because like when I'm running, it's like I I think it's really important that, like, especially in this age where, like, we constantly have screens all around us, there's constantly, like, some sort of information buzzing around our heads. Like, even, like,
Mm-hmm.
I never allow myself any sort of silence. Like, I always have some kind of podcast or something in the background. Because as soon as you let that silence come over, then, like, your thoughts start buzzing, right? And it becomes
Yes,
a little bit
yes.
overwhelming. But it is very important for us to have that bit of silence, a little bit of time for self-reflection, because otherwise, that's why a lot of people are not able to sleep that well at night, because that's
Mm-hmm.
the moment of silence that you get, and that's when, like, your thoughts take over, and that's when it becomes a little hard for you to fall asleep, which I had issues for a while.
Really?
But like, once, if you allow, and that's like that thing about, like, the shower thoughts, right? That, again, that's like another place of, like, silence, and, like, your thoughts start buzzing, and, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
dude, what if the sky was green? Like, what? That would be wild.
That
um
would be wild.
that would be wild. um but yeah, so that's how I feel like, when I'm running. I don't have to think, but, like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
let the thoughts wash over me if I want to. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's important for you to have, like, some kind of quiet time, some kind of hobby, even if it's not, like, a sports related, like something a little relaxing, like cooking or sewing, or even
Mm-hmm.
video games might be something good if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, I love how you brought up the topic of just like we're constantly being stimulated by
Mm-hmm.
screens, and it's so easy because our phone fits in the palm of our hand
Yeah.
and we have access to the internet through these like thin slabs
Yeah.
of metal and electricity, and it's so easy to constantly be looking for new sources of
Mm-hmm.
entertainment or to
Yeah.
like try and like fill our minds and our time
Yeah.
with just like information. So it's very necessary to step away from that, at
Mm-hmm.
times,
Yeah.
and to just like have space for your own natural thoughts, and like things that you perhaps need to process, or things that you're like dealing with or going through. Like you need to set aside that time for yourself so that your brain doesn't become like clogged up with just like junk,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. Yeah. And we have talked a lot about work schedules, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how um, we sort of like delegate that time throughout the day. But I want to like spin the conversation now to weekends.
Oh yeah.
Now, weekends in a typical job are supposed to be days where you do not do any work,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's sort of the definition of it.
Yeah.
But when you're freelancing, it's very easy to work on the weekends,
Mm-hmm.
yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
So, have you found any sort of issue or like
Mm-hmm.
solution toward that?
So I have a general rule of not working on the weekends, but again, it's very easy to fall under that trap of, like, okay, I guess I'm not doing anything on the weekend. I might as well work, but don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You need some form of break. And, like, the other thing is, I have had clients who will give me work to do on the weekend, which is very
Mm,
annoying, and I don't want to say no. And so, like, I will have days where, like, I'm just working for the full week, and that is absolutely terrible for you. And I don't have a way around it besides just telling your client that, like, no, I have this rule where I don't work on the weekends. I can give this to you on Tuesday if you want.
mhm.
I don't know why you'd need it on the weekend. Like, you're not supposed to be working, but um, yeah, I guess that's all I can say about that.
Yeah, there's definitely this like unspoken pressure when it comes to freelancing where it's like, "Oh, you're expected to work on the weekends." Like, what do
Mm-hmm.
you mean you can't work on the weekends? You're
Mm-hmm.
you're at the same place that you always are.
Yeah.
And like part of me is just kind of like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
But like the other part of me is also like, "You're kind of right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I totally do have the capacity to just like do the work
Yeah.
that I need to do." But like the whole theme that we've been circling around and coming back to is that like you do need to set aside these breaks for
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Yeah.
And nobody is going to do it for you. I think
No.
that's something that's very important to realize. your client is not going to be like, oh yeah, it's fine if you don't do the work that I'm paying you to do. No, you kind of sometimes have to step in and be like, hey, I have this rule, and like, I will get this to you by this time, and that will happen, but like, yeah, this is very hard and fast. And I don't think it's too much to ask, honestly, because if you were to ask anybody else who worked, like a normal job, normal, is that the right word to use? But basically a job where you work, weekdays, right? And you have like set weekends. You wouldn't expect them to be working on their weekends. You would respect the fact that they have this time set aside for themselves. So, when you work as a freelancer, you kind of need to like champion for yourself in that kind of way. And like, it's true that like there's a lot of like very tight deadlines, and sometimes you just can't, right? Like, you just have to work on weekends. And I think we both understand that very much. So it's like, you do what feels comfortable for you ultimately, right? You have to live in the body that you're taking care of at the end of the day. And you can make choices to benefit that or to hurt that, when it comes down to it. And for me, I have taken a very like cold turkey kind of approach to it, where I'm like, I don't work on weekends. I don't respond to emails, and it's been working out so far, and it's great because now I have this time on the weekends to like hang out with my boyfriend and to like go outside, to, like just like enjoy the life that I am working so hard for. Right.
I also have the same issue with holidays as well, because like, I mean, I feel like there's an expectation to kind of work on holidays now, where because it's so easy to, I mean, working from home is already a thing, because like with like quote unquote normal jobs of like, okay, I'm going to be out for the week, but I can do like a little bit of stuff from home, because like, but like, we're already working from home. So what's the difference if like we are away in like another city or country or whatever? And this past summer I was away for a month on vacation, but like it was just so long of a time where I felt too guilty to tell clients that like, okay, I can't work for the whole of this month, because like there are deadlines, there are things going on, and like I feel like there's a lot of pressure on like their own scheduling, that like I would feel like it would feel weird if I was telling them that like, yeah, you're gonna have to put your whole schedule on hold because I gotta take a vacation.
Right.
But like, I do need a vacation.
Yes, and you deserve it too. Yeah.
Maybe a month was too long. I do have like, I'm going to LA in November for a week, and I'm already telling all my clients that, hey, listen up, I'm not going to be working this week, but I'm sure I will get some emails being like, oh, can you do this quick thing for me? So I am taking my iPad with me just in case. I don't want to work, but I feel like it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that, like you're saying, it's important to be your own advocate, right? And to like set these boundaries with clients. But, it is kind of like nature of the work where like issues are going to arise and you are going to have to take care of them. Yeah. So I think I do want to stress, to people listening, that it's good to take this entire process at your own pace. You don't have to go cold turkey. You don't have to like work all the time. Yeah. But, just like figure out something that works for you and for your clients as well, because it's going to be different for everybody naturally. So just, you will figure out something, that will fit your schedule, and it will work just fine. Yeah. Just fine. And I think it's really funny, this whole like conversation about like having to work on holidays, because I remember last year around Christmas time, and Christmas is my favorite fucking holiday. I look forward to Christmas all year. Once it's December 26th, I'm already looking forward to next year's Christmas.
That's
and
so
like
cute.
it's like leading up to Christmas this year, and like I heard a Christmas song yesterday in a TV show, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so ready.
Time.
Like, it's time. I know Halloween hasn't happened yet, but I don't care, okay? So it's important to understand that context. When last year during Christmas, I had received an email telling me, you need to fix this file.
Oh, dear.
And I was like, I thought I already submitted everything, you know? I thought the whole point of us, you know, taking this break was to get everything in before the deadline. And this person was telling me, no, like, we're still missing something. We need you to send this in as soon as possible. Anoosha, I was stressed. I was angry, actually. I was like, okay, so, like, it just doesn't matter, you know, that, like, I did everything you asked me to do, and, you know, I turned everything in on time, and now you're, like, telling me there's more stuff that needs to be done? Yeah. Like, I was just kind of like, where do we draw the line anymore?
Yeah,
like,
you can't punish the artist for, like, your mistake, because, like, if they had told you about this work sooner, then I'm sure you would have gotten it done, but now it's cutting into your time, and, like, how can you expect someone to work on a major holiday?
It's just like, it's kind of like asinine. It's just like, are you serious? Like, everybody has this day off. Yeah. It just feels like deeply unfair in a way. So, like, I feel like there needs to be this sort of like bigger conversation around how clients interact with artists, right? And also how artists interact with themselves and among themselves, because I feel like there's this sort of like myth that's circulating in the artist community where it's like, if you aren't drawing or working all the time, then you're not being productive and you're not a good artist. Have you heard that before?
Oh yeah, crunch is a very big thing in the artist community, and that, like, guys, we don't need this.
Like, why are we killing ourselves?
Why are we killing ourselves?
Like, I know everybody dies, but, like, do we really need to, like, speed up the process like that much? Yeah. It's like, it's just this weird, like, internal competition, right? That we all have, where it's like we feel this need to, like, outwork, you know, like, other artists, or to, like, overwork ourselves in order to, like, prove to somebody, I don't know who we're proving this to, but that it's like, hey, like, I can do the stuff.
Right, exactly.
I am capable,
Because then there's this mentality that, like, you have to be drawing every second of your life. You have to be drawing at least once a day. You got to be posting every day. You have to, like, be doing this stuff all the time. And, like, that kind of, like, trickles up to, like, the big people who are like, oh, okay, I guess, like, we're all working constantly now, and let's take advantage of that.
No, that's so true. And I feel like there's this sort of, like, almost like this expendability when it comes to, like, artists. And it's like, they're all, like, craving these jobs, right? You know, like, perpetuating the idea that there's, like, a scarcity in the market, and creating this competition among artists to be like, oh, hey, you know, X person is working harder than you, it seems. Maybe you should step it up a little bit. And it's like, what the fuck? Exactly. Like, why are you, like, pitting people against each other? Like, the moments that I have felt most, like, fulfilled and, like, supported within the artist community is when we, like, all come together to, like, help each other. It's like, hey, like, anybody looking for jobs? You know, like, I got jobs available. And it's like, if you need help with this or that, like, I can help you out. And it's like, that is so much more, like, substantial at the end of the day than, like, creating this, like, frenzy among people. It's like, if you're not doing this, then I guess you're not getting a job. It's like, are you serious? What? Like, these are people. Exactly. These are not robots. These are people. You gotta understand that.
Yeah. And because of this pressure, like, you want to keep your job. You want to get that job, and you'll do anything to keep that job. And if, like, your bosses are telling you, hey, you gotta work faster, you gotta be putting in that overtime, I guess you're gonna have to do that. It's really unfair.
Yeah, and it's really damaging to the community as a whole, I think. And I think that talking about these, like, kind of issues is good, because it, like, helps us, like, start to find a solution to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, change is always slow, but I feel like the Twitter, like artist community that we're like sort of a part of, we have come to this sort of like understanding where it's like, hey, if you need to take a break, right? The world's not going to end if you take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like so often we're like made to believe that, hey, it's going to be your fault if you take a break. But it's like, honestly, no, it'll be fine. The world will continue.
It's okay. It's all good.
Things will get turned in and it will be okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I also do feel like it's something that like comes with age as well, where like you start to realize that it's like very important for you to just like take that time to yourself, because like when I was younger, I was very into the mentality of like, oh yeah, I got to be drawing all the time. Like it's fine. Like my body is fine. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
But like when you start getting a little bit older, it'll catch up with you.
It's gonna catch up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out that like it's become increasingly more important for like studios and companies, etc., that like time is their biggest thing, that like you have to get this done on a certain time, and it kind of like throws the artists under the bus, because like there's certain demands that you make from artists are like, because like they might sacrifice the artist's like quality over like getting this done at a certain time before like this big thing or whatever. You see a lot of like these because like there's just so much content being made these days, and I'm looking at you, Netflix, of like they just want to churn it out as fast as possible, that they're kind of sacrificing quality. Because I have like seen there are like shows out there which have been getting hate that's like, oh okay, the animation sucks, the designs are terrible, but like that's not it's not the artist's fault. It's like it's because of like these long hours, these crunches, and just like them trying to get this work done to satisfy like these clients' horrible deadlines.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like I could name a show right now that's new on Netflix, right? I think we all know what it is.
I think we know what we're talking about.
It's in our minds. Yeah. And I've definitely seen like a lot of initial backlash. I haven't even watched the damn show yet. Yeah. And people are like, oh my God, it's so ugly. And it's like, well, whose fault is that though? Yeah. Like, if anybody is being forced, like pressured to create something in a very short amount of time, you gotta sacrifice something.
Yeah.
Right? And usually it's quality that goes out the window.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like what are you gonna do? You can't sacrifice time because there's already so little time, and you can't sacrifice money because there's already so much money in it. So the quality just kind of has to go kaput.
Yeah.
And that is just like a practice that is, oh man, that's like part of a larger issue though, right? Like that speaks to something much bigger. And in terms of like producing things of quality, like that's definitely become something that's a little bit more scarce in today's market in general, because it's kind of like everybody's making something, right?
Yeah.
So if the faster you can get something out, then that's what matters. That's the most important. And I think that kind of like feeds back into this conversation that we're having, which is just like the quality. You need to come back to the quality, whether it's the quality of the work that you do, or the quality of the life, or the quality of the relaxation that you are taking. You need to value that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, geez.
I know that this is a very like intensive kind of like topic to talk about, right? And it's talking about work, which in turn feels like work, right? You're just thinking about work, right? So like this episode definitely feels like a little bit more tiring in comparison to the fan art episode, because it's just kind of like, oh God, I'm like thinking about all the things I need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Now just like we're 40 minutes in, and the entire time I was just thinking about, okay, what am I doing today? How am I scheduling this out? Like, am I going to get everything done on time? What am I going to do right after this? Dang.
It just breeds more like stress. But it's important to discuss.
Yeah, it is very important to discuss
which is
all
why
of this.
you're doing this. Yes.
The importance of taking breaks. Do it. Your
Please,
guys,
please.
I don't know where you guys are listening to this right now. Maybe you are listening to this while you're working, or you're just sitting. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing, but get up, maybe stretch a bit, walk around the room a bit. Do that thing where like you bend over and touch your toes, like turn your head around. It is so important. Give your eyes a break.
Yes.
Hands up if you wear glasses.
Oh, you can't see it, but my hand is up.
My hand is halfway up because I got laser surgery. But like, it's, guys, you gotta take care of your body. This work that we do, it requires a lot of sitting down. You're probably hunched over. You have bad posture. You got your face, your eyes right on, like, touching the screens, and you're stuck on that all day. So it's important to take breaks, do your little stretches. Personally, every night I do like this whole little yoga routine of like just getting, just because like I got like lower back issues from like sitting down a lot, and so I got to stretch that out. Otherwise, that's going to cause problems later down the line. Stretching your hands is really important. But it's a tendonitis, carpal tunnel. That's a very big issue that I know a lot of people have had.
Yes. Take care of those wrists.
Because like, wouldn't it be the worst thing in the world if you couldn't draw anymore? That it actually pained you to like pick up a pencil. I don't know what I would do. So. Take care of yourself. Do those. You can find those on YouTube. Just search for like carpal tunnel stretches, and just like, if not every hour, just do them at the end of your work day. Just like I'm doing it right now. I'm like stretching out my palm, your leggies, and give your eyes a break. Blink. That's what my eye doctor told me. They're like, hey girl, you gotta blink more. Because like when you're staring at a screen, you don't realize that you're not blinking, and like your eyes get dried up. Get some eye drops. God, getting eye drops was like the best thing I've ever done in my life. It really, oh my God, it feels so good. Vicki,
it does.
Buy some the eye drops are so good.
Yeah, I bought contacts recently, and I noticed that I've also had issues with not blinking enough, and so the eye drops sort of help to cushion that. And girl, when you put in those eye drops, oh my God, like everything, like I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I feel relaxed. Yeah, I know. It's like, woo! It's a big thing.
Better,
yeah. But yeah, Anoosha, you talked a lot about a bunch of important like exercises, like like small breaks to take, and like wind down sort of like routines. Those are all extremely important, and ultimately it's about listening to your body, because let me tell you, yesterday I woke up and I had like this slight pain in my knee, and I was like, how about no? And I was like talking to my boyfriend about it, and I was just kind of like, dude, where the heck is this coming from? And he's like, have you noticed how you sit? And I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, you kind of like sit with your leg like underneath your thigh, and like your knees just at like this like very tense position all the time. I'm like, oh my God, I do that. And literally I like went to sit down like right at where we were having that conversation, and I did that, and I was like, oh my God, like it was like unconscious, like I didn't even realize it. So it's like, just like be in tune with your body, like if your body's telling you like, hey, something hurts, like just pay it some attention and be like, is there anything I could do to change my behaviors and to sort of alleviate that from happening. Yeah.
While we're on the subject, get a water bottle, put it on your desk, sip on it every 10 minutes.
Yes.
You're not drinking enough water.
Oh my God, it's so true. Water is very important. Also, bathroom breaks. Please take bathroom breaks.
Oh
You
my
can't. The
God.
water has to go somewhere.
It has to go
Okay.
somewhere.
So please don't hold it in. That's not good for you. It's not. I found that every like hour or like hour and a half or so, I like to just like get up and like take a break and like take care of like anything that I need to and just like sort of relax for a little bit. And I think just sort of like being conscientious of sort of like regular intervals where you can sort of like just relax for a little bit, that's also really good, because you don't want to do that thing where you just like work for like several hours straight and then you get up and you're like, oh,
my legs stopped working.
Yeah, like I feel really bad for some reason. So it's just like take care of yourself in increments. Just pay attention to that. Yeah.
I have a tip for that. If you guys have you heard of the Pomodoro Technique?
No, please share.
I hope I'm saying it right. So, you know those little egg timers that look like a tomato?
I love those, yes.
Yes, so that is what it's named after. So what it basically is that it's a timer where I believe it's that you set the timer for, actually, let me search it up so I don't get it wrong.
Okay, sure.
I don't want a recipe for sauce. I want the timer.
Are you sure?
I mean, I am getting a little hungry, but no. Okay, yeah. So I will tell. Oh, it's telling me that I need to get rid of my ad blocker. Stop it.
No, that's staying in place.
That's so annoying. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so this is what it exactly says. Number 1, choose a task to be accomplished. Set the Pomodoro to 25 minutes. Work on the task until the Pomodoro rings, then put a check on your sheet of paper. Take a short break, 5 minutes is okay. Every 4 Pomodoros, take a long break. So what it basically is, you work for 25 minutes, and when the timer goes off, you take your 5-minute break where like you get up, you walk around, you check your phone. Because like, you know what? You don't have your phone in place. You put it on silent during those 25 minutes. Those 25 minutes, it's like you're just working. You have all your gross, nasty social media tabs closed. When your 5-minute break is over, you do another 25 minutes. So you do this 4 times. So you basically have an hour, I think. No, 2 hours. And then you take your long break of like 30 minutes or whatever. And you do that for like the whole day. And then you have like your 1-hour lunch break. And so that has been like the most helpful for me, because I'm very guilty of like when I'm working, like my phone will do like the ding ding. I actually have like the Kim Possible beep.
So that's
like,
so
beep,
cute.
Beep, beep, beep. So and I'll like check to see what the old Twitter is saying, and then I end up on like the Wikipedia page for like is Lindsay Lohan actually a twin theory? And just like a whole
Pomodoro sauces.
Yeah, Pomodoro sauces. But with this Pomodoro technique, I stay on point.
Dude, yeah, that's a really good technique. I've like learned about something similar where it's you just like set a timer for yourself, and for that entire time you like have to work without distractions. And that is actually very useful. Like the times that I've tried it, it's been like, wow, like, whoa, I got so much done like in this short amount of time. It's amazing. Whereas like usually if you don't sort of like set that boundary for yourself, then you're like, yeah, I'm working, but I'm also watching a YouTube video. I'm like browsing on Twitter. It's like, and you're not getting anything done because your mind is just not focused. It's just like it's everywhere. It's like, how can you get anything done? Yeah, so I think that's a really good technique for anybody to try out and like see if that works for you, because like it can definitely be very beneficial. And,
do you listen to podcasts or watch videos when you're working?
Oh my God. Okay, this is like the fun part of talking about work-life balance. Yes, I love listening to podcasts while I work. And I used to listen to YouTube videos before I found podcasts. And I found that like it worked okay.
It's a bit distracting.
Because like it is a bit distracting because I would feel very tempted to like watch the video. And of course then we're back to square one. So podcasts is wonderful because there's nothing for you to click back to. If you do, it's just a list of episodes. Like there's nothing that entertaining to do. And so it's nice to just like have that in the background. So you're kind of like, okay, like I have something to like stimulate my brain a little bit, and I won't, fear like I'm getting bored or anything like that, right? Because that's sort of like a very common issue where it's like, yeah, I could work for this set amount of time, but I just feel bored. So it's like sometimes you need something extra. And I used to listen to music a lot when I would work, and that was good, but I've found that like recently I've gotten very like emotionally affected by music. So sometimes that can be a negative because I'll be listening to a song and I'll get like very like attached to it, and like it'll start affecting my work, and I'm like, wait, like things are going in weird directions all of a sudden.
Yeah,
so,
like I'm drawing and then suddenly the last song from Hamilton comes on and suddenly I'm crying on the and like I didn't ask for this. I just wanted to work.
No, yeah, oh my God. I had a similar experience like a couple of weeks ago where I was like listening to some of the Red Hot Chili Peppers old albums, and I was just feeling very like emotionally influenced by it. I was like, oh my God, like these melodies and these harmonies, and I'm just like, oh, like I'm like almost about to cry because it's just like so cool. So like I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I listen to music as a leisure now. It's not a good work aid.
If I listen to music, I would have like one of two options. One is video game music, which is very good because like video game music is designed to be in the background. Because like when you're playing a video game, you hardly ever notice the music anyway. It's designed to like get like kind of stimulate your brain a little bit. So like you're playing the game or whatever. Animal Crossing is really good for that, in my opinion. And then the other thing that I like is music that's specially designed to, like if you go on YouTube and you search for like music for studying, and like it'll have like these kind of new agey wow kind of like and like it just works for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it if you're into that kind of stuff, I would highly recommend it. Otherwise, podcast is the way to go.
And hey, you're already listening to a podcast right now, so you are on the right track, my friend.
You're doing great, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, this is something that I've been doing recently, and it might be a little bit extra. I'm still like trying it out to see if it works for me. But like, I'll have a show playing on the bigger TV, so that I can just like have that like that ambient sound of like people talking, and I won't feel the need to like click back to that tab on my laptop, to like watch it, because it's like it's already there, it's already happening, I can't do anything about it. So like my brain already understands that that's like a concrete object in the room with me, like making those sounds, and so it's like I can just like focus on the work on my computer without feeling the need to switch to something else. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I have started avoiding videos just because like, I get too distracted. Like I'll be like, okay, like even if it's something like Friends, which I've seen a million times, like I'm not gonna get invested. I suddenly get invested all of a sudden. I'll be like, oh wait, I want to watch this scene like fully. I don't want to like I want to see what happens to like Ross and Rachel or whatever.
For like the 10th time.
For like the 10th time. I know what's gonna happen, but what if it's different this time?
I know what you mean though, because like I've been on a Gilmore Girls kick recently, and I've seen that show so many times, but like you said, it's like, what? Maybe there's something I missed the first 3 times I watched it,
Exactly.
Maybe there's something else. Yeah.
Some other goodies that like I don't do as much anymore, but like I still like rainymood.com is really nice. It just has like ambience, like rain in the background, and there are also other similar ones like a coffee shop noise where it's just like,
oh, I love
people
those.
like murmuring, blah 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 blah, and like
the occasional clink of the coffee cup,
which is for some reason is really relaxing. That's a goodie.
Oh my God. Okay, this is kind of off topic, but I was watching this girl's vlog and she was just making coffee in the morning, and the sounds of it and like the visuals of it was so relaxing to me. I don't know why. I don't drink coffee, but there was something about that entire like experience that I was like, wow, like this is something about this routine is just like very nice. So like tying that into the whole coffee shop thing, it's just kind of like that vibe,
Mm-hmm.
that like chill vibe that just
That's really
it's a nice supplement. Yeah.
That was a nice tangent. I think we needed a break from like all of those bad talks that we had before.
Yeah, I think I was like starting to hear it in like our voices. Like you were like sighing a little bit more, and I was like, "Oh my God, like what are we doing to
I'm
ourselves?"
suddenly really depressed.
But yeah, it's nice that we're like get a chance to like talk about things that also help us while we work, right? Because that is that's very important as well, right? Because like working isn't just about like you have to sit down and work. You can have additional things that sort of like help you out and like can help stimulate your creativity as well. There's when I talk about work, it's not like I just draw for like an hour straight and I have no outside, like stimulation. Nobody can talk to me or anything like that. It's like, no. Like you can have things that help you out along the way. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've covered all of our bases.
Oh, yay. Woohoo!
We did pretty good.
I think so, yeah.
How's your Inktober going?
Oh, it is going very well. I have sketched out the one for today, which is day 3. So once we're wrapped up here, I'm going to just go back to working on that. And it's going to be fun. That's what I'm telling myself. I'm trying this whole new sort of like way of looking at life and, the problems that it brings and just trying to put a positive spin on it. So, yeah.
Inktober is a really good idea for like your it's it kind of like for at least for me like it forces you to like try a new medium because I never ever touch traditional media apart from like Inktober.
Yeah, same.
And like it's kind of like a community event and you feel like you're taking part, you're seeing all this amazing art, and like people see your art as well, like you get like a lot of exposure from like people like looking through the tags as well, but also there is a little bit of pressure to take part. I don't know, for me.
Right, yeah. Talk about that more, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, really busy this month, so I really should not do Inktober. But at the same time, I'm seeing all of these people making amazing artwork, and I want to be a part of it.
You can.
Okay. So like what I decided that I'm gonna do like maybe 2 or 3 per week, and like maybe I might do a piece that takes like 2 days to complete. Like I'm not. Inktober doesn't have to be so strict. You can adapt it to your personal lifestyle because like even though it's a really great thing that you can be a part of and you can adjust it accordingly to your schedule. You don't have to do it every single day because I have like seen people. I was talking to a friend the other day of like she was taking like her pieces were taking a lot of time, like they were really intricate, and she was like, I don't know if I can finish it in one day. And I told her, you know what, why don't you just aim to do like one big amazing piece in a week, and you just do that. I
like that.
And you have like 4 pieces that you have by the end of the month, but they're like really amazing pieces.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It definitely should be something that you can adapt, right, to your own needs and stuff like that. Because, like, I know there's been controversy going on within the artist community about Inktober, and it is essentially just drama. And it's funny because yesterday I was talking with a friend of mine. She's not an artist, but she was like asking me like what I was up to, and I was like telling her about Inktober, and she was like, "Oh, what is that?" And I found it so hard to explain to her like essentially what it was because I'm like, there's just so many like people are making it into like so many different things, like it has to be this or it should be this. And I know that the person who created it, I think it's Jake Parker. Jake Parker. I know that his original intention was for it to be a daily challenge traditionally, but that's not to say that you know, you can't do things differently. And when things become so public, right, so popular, it's only natural that it's going to adapt. It's going to change.
It's going to evolve somehow.
Exactly. You can't help it. And so for people who are being very like traditionalists about this event, it's like, who are you helping at the end of the day? Are you just trying to like make people feel bad about making artwork? No, like ultimately art challenges are just about making art.
Exactly.
And if that's what people do at the end of the day, then they will do that in whatever way that they want to. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because for those of you listening who don't know what Inktober is a sort of a challenge made by Jake Parker, I believe, where like you create one ink drawing for every day of October. And so, yeah, people were getting all hot and fussy that like, that like, oh, you have to be drawing with like traditional inks. And like and I had even seen people who are like only inks, not even like pens, which like that's too much. Like I'm doing it digitally because like I don't have time for like, I didn't buy any paper. All of my pink pens are dry. Like I'm just gonna do it digitally. I don't care. But like there were some people who were getting hot and fussy about like, no, you gotta do it the old-fashioned way, like back when I was a boy, you know.
You gotta do it by candlelight.
Yeah.
It's like what does that even mean? Yeah, it's like if you ink traditionally, you're still inking.
Yeah.
There you go. What more do you want? Yeah. Moral of the story is you do Inktober whatever way you want to do.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
As long as you're not using crayons, then like, what's the big deal?
Right.
Just use inks.
As long as you're not using crayons. There you go.
Otherwise, like, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, just run with it. Okay.
I have one more thing.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't know if we did this in any of our other episodes, but it is something that I wanted to put into place. Yes. Just to like at least end our episodes on like a sort of a high note. I wanted to do shout out corner.
Oh, okay, sure.
Where every episode, like we give a shout out to something that we really liked that week. Sorry to put you on the spot. I should have told you about this corner that I made up beforehand.
No worries.
So my shout out corner is, now I have to think of something.
I've actually like been writing down things to shout out because I remember you talking about that. Okay. Does it have to be art related, may I ask?
No, it doesn't have to be art related.
Okay, awesome. Well, I recently found this YouTuber who I'm very, very, very I think she's really cool. Her name is Claire Weinland, and she talks very openly about her experiences with cerebral palsy, I believe it's what she has. And the many, many hospital visits and surgeries that entails, right? And she just talks about her experiences with that. And she has acquired a very unique sort of vision on life. And I just wanted to share something that I had heard her say in a podcast. And it goes like this. There's living for some kind of false utopia of who you are, who you could be, and who the world could be. You're letting yourself down. Because you can be messed up. You can suffer, you can feel what it means to be a human being in all of its messiness and still move forward and still make something that will genuinely help people. And I was really taken by this quote that she had said, because it's just this idea that like nobody is perfect, right? And that sounds so trite, but we are all human in the sense that we experience things both good and bad. And we feel things both good and bad. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're bad people, right?
That's beautiful.
And exactly. And it also means that the idea of perfection is sort of, like she said, a utopia. It's not possible. And you shouldn't let those things about your humanity hold you back from creating what you want to create. So just have faith in the experiences and the emotions that you are going through, whether they are positive or negative, and just allow yourself to embrace those things and to make the best out of it and to create despite any sort of problems that you may be going through. Because everybody is going through problems, right? And it's ultimately what you decide to make out of it that will help you move along. So I just wanted to share that because it really helped me, and I thought it was very poignant.
That was really lovely. My shout out corner is not nearly as nice as yours, but it is the 10th anniversary of Pushing Daisies, which is my all-time favorite show.
Wow.
Did you ever watch it?
No, but I am interested now, especially since it's the 10th anniversary.
Super underrated. Like, it was only 2 seasons and both were like really short as well. It's basically this really sweet guy who has the ability to bring people back from the dead with like one touch. But if you touch them again, then like they're dead for good. So he meets his childhood crush, but she's dead. And so he touches her once and like she's alive, but now he can never touch her again. It's like this really sad little relationship, but like the whole show is really cute. It has it's by Brian Fuller, who's done like Hannibal and like now American Gods. It's like a very unique style. But it's like a very positive and cute show. It's adorable. It's my absolute favorite show, and my shout out is just that you guys should watch it. I hear that they're gonna try to make it into a musical, which would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh, you know what? Now that you explain this show, I think I have seen like small clips of it from like where they're both baking together or something, and he holds up the thing of plastic film between him and this woman. Okay, yeah.
I forgot to mention he's a pie maker.
Oh my god.
It's as cute as it can possibly be. It's really sweet.
Okay, I'm definitely putting that on my to-watch list so I can talk with you about it. Cool. And we can, gab about all that.
Thank you for listening to The Art Corner. You can follow us on Twitter at The Art Corner Pod, or send us any questions or comments at theartcornerpodcast@gmail.com.
Our theme music was made by the amazing Louis Zong, and you can follow him at EverydayLouis on Twitter. You can also follow Anoosha on Twitter at Foxville_art, and follow Vicki at Vicki Tsai. Thanks again, and see you next time.